Welcome to this live interview and case study. I'm so excited to be here with Yasser. Hi, Yasser. How are you?
Fantastic. Good to see you, Sonny.
Nice to see you as well. I feel like this is long overdue. I've wanted to do this with you and have this conversation for a while now. So I'm very, very excited to dive into the details. If you are here tuning in, just let us know where you're tuning in from. I think my mic just might be a little bit hot there, so I'm just going to take that down a notch. But let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you want to give this a share, because I know it's going to be so helpful to anybody who is wanting to start a business and feeling that fear, and hearing Yasser's story of really where you were 10 months ago to where you are today is wild. So I'm excited to dive into the details. And I know there's going to be so many gold nuggets out of this as well, of just tactical things that you've been able to do to really catapult your growth and success. So before we get into it, if you're unfamiliar with me, my name's Lenarduzzi. This is my page. Welcome. And I'm the founder of the Authority Accelerator, which Yasser is a part of. You are one of I call you my superstar clients. And you've done so well with the program. So I wanted to take the time to really sit down with you and dive deep into how you implemented it, how it has affected you, and what has happened to you since you started the program. So I'm so excited. Let's go. All right. So let's get into just, I guess, take us back to where you were 10 months ago.
Yeah. So I'm an international student here in Canada. So I came here as an immigrant. I finished my education. And, once you finish university, especially as an immigrant, the first thing you want to do is get a job. So having a business and education degree, I naturally went into HR. And I got a job as a recruiter, right? So helping companies find employees, learning about the insides of the job industry. So I was doing that for a while, and very quickly I realized, it's okay. I like how these things work on the inside, but what I really want to do is help people with this knowledge find jobs, because people in my community, international people, they struggle with this. They struggle coming to a new country and finding a job. So I said, I want to take everything I've learned and teach it back to them. So I wanted to start my own coaching business, right? So naturally, like a lot of people, I started looking into different ways of launching. I put money into Facebook ads. I put 125 videos out on YouTube, and nothing came my way. I didn't make a single cent from it.
Wait. 125 videos?
I think there are like 400 videos now if you look at my channel every day. So it was like, this was my schedule, Sonny. I would wake up in the morning. I'd schedule my videos. I would go to work from 8 o'clock to 5, come back, shoot the video, edit the video, put it up, rinse and repeat every single day.
Wow. Wow. How exhausting was that?
You telling me? Yeah, I was burnt out of my mind. So it was at that point where I was like, maybe I don't know what I'm doing here. Maybe I gotta ask an expert. So that's when I checked out your channel. I saw, okay, this Sunny person seems to know what she's talking about. And then next thing you know, we got our business off the ground.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think that's so important to share that side of it, because I hear that story all the time where people are doing all of the things and working so hard with such little return. Can you sort of explain to me now in hindsight, because I think it's easier to look at it now in hindsight. Yeah. Can you explain to me why you felt the need to be uploading 125 videos and have that grueling schedule and be doing all of the things to try and get your coaching business off the ground?
Oh, yeah, because you got to grind, right? You got to hustle. You got to be working day and night, 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. I thought that's what it took to launch a business. I did, because I was watching the Gary V's of the world, and I thought that's the only way you can make money. And you know what, Sonny? I took great pride in that. I took pride in the fact that I didn't sleep at night. I took pride that I woke up at 4 in the morning after sleeping at 1 a.m. and I was making videos after videos. And it to the point where my social life was suffering, right? So I wouldn't go out. No, I got to edit this video. I got to put this out today. And it was almost like buying raffle tickets. Like every video you put out there, maybe I'll win the lottery. Maybe someone's going to come to me and ask for my service. But it just never happened, at least up until I reached out to you.
Well, and I call that hope marketing. It's like you just sit there crossing your fingers and you're like, okay, please just
Yeah.
somebody see this and somebody want to work with me. Like that's, so
I'm a senior hope marketer by this point. I'll tell you that.
So, and I know because we talk a lot, and I think part of the beauty of the Authority Accelerator for me is that because you have lifetime access to the program, I get to see every single step along the way. So I remember the day you joined, and I have been able to watch every bit along the way. And I think that mindset piece of, going from the mentality of hustle hard, grind, constantly put out content, to the way that we do business, which is, of course, it takes hard work, but it's not the kind of hard work that is fruitless. It's the kind of hard work that has a point. So I feel like you're still kind of navigating through that old mentality of like hustle, 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 work, work, work. How has that transition been for you since you started in the Authority Accelerator?
One thing that the Authority Accelerator program taught me was the system. There's a specific way you follow things, and because I'm terrible at following instructions, right? You'll say, hey Yasser, do this. Okay, I'll do 50 other things except that one thing you told me to do, and I'll come back and say, hey, this isn't working. So first of all, thank you for giving me lifetime access and being so patient with me.
It's fine.
But the other thing was just having a system, like, hey, do this first, do that, do that, do that, and what it really helped me understand is the purpose of each one of these activities. So when I was making my YouTube videos, I didn't know how that was going to generate revenue. My idea was I'm going to make enough videos, I'm going to plug in ad revenue and become rich off of ad revenue. And to this day, I've made like 40 cents off ads. So that's definitely not going too well.
That's so common, though. That's so common.
Right,
so common.
Yeah. And now that I'm following your system, you've given me, okay, listen, if you're putting out a YouTube video, it's specific for this purpose. If you're going to be sending out DMs or reaching out to people, it's for this specific purpose. And aligning all that information into a system, into a structure, that has been more valuable than anything else to me.
And that's what we call profitable content, because I think that is a part of the issue. It's like when you're just putting out content to put out content, one, it's exhausting, as you know, but two, it's like you're trying to cast this really wide net. And again, crossing your fingers that something's going to come from it, where when you're more intentional and you put out profitable content, you don't have to do nearly as much, but you're going to see a much higher return on your time spent. So I just think that's so interesting how you've really kind of changed and pivoted your whole strategy based off of that. So let's go back. Oh, by the way, if you are here and you're enjoying this, make sure that you hit that like button and you press the share button as well to share this out with anybody who wants to see it. Because I know that this is going to be just full of golden gems for everybody here. But let's talk about, you were working a full-time job when you joined Authority Accelerator. So I think probably one of the biggest questions that I get asked is, I remember you asked this question actually when you were a couple months in. You were like, how do you know when it's time to quit? And I was like, I can't answer that question for you, totally honest, because I'm not in your shoes. But you ended up leaving your job pretty quickly. So what was that transition like? How did you come to that decision?
Yeah, when I joined your program, first of all, I didn't know anything about business, and this is coming from someone who has a business degree. Okay, so that's how much you've taught me about business. So once I realized,
virtual hug, thank you.
Holy crap, I can make this much money out of it. So I joined the program. I started doing AA stuff along with my full-time job. So it was 9 to 5, and then every hour I get between, I do AA stuff. Within the first, I want to say 3 weeks-ish, I know I got my first client in 18 days, and within the first month or so, I had made 10 grand out of it. I was like, holy crap.
We do snaps for that. Our team does snaps when anything good happens. So if everybody's watching at home right now, just give some snaps for Yasser. 30 days, 10 grand. And I just want to put that in context, because prior to joining Authority Accelerator, how much money had you generated in your coaching business?
I'm really going to have to look into my my cash flow state. I'm sure if you put it all together, it's going to be like $400 at most. And that too, like, just sheer luck. Somehow money ended up in my lap. So yeah, so 10 grand I made in that first month or so. And I gotta admit, I got really lazy after that. I was like, I've made three months of my salary. I don't have to do anything for a while. I laid back for a bit. But then I started doing more and more and more of the AA stuff, and it was incremental. So it was like 10,000, 8,000, 11,000. Like, okay, well, this is not going to stop now, is it?
That's such a good problem. We call that a champagne problem. You're like, so the money's not.
I've got a lot of champagne problems. The whole rack of
You're like, the money's not going to just go away. That's wonderful.
Like, what do I do with all this money? What am I? I wish that's something you taught me, Sonny. What to do with money when it comes, because I didn't know what to do.
You know what? That's a good point. I'm going to start including that for our Authority Accelerator clients. When you start making all of the money, here's what to do with it.
You know, just on a side note, Sonny, when I got that money, I bought a PlayStation, a TV, a MacBook. I went on a shopping spree till I ran out of things to buy. I didn't know what else to spend money on. I even bought like a foot cushion and stuff. It was the weirdest thing. Anyway, so when I was making all these expenses, then I realized, you know what? I don't think you need to do this 40-hour-a-week job, man. I think you can quit. So I think it took me about 3 months between joining your program and quitting the job altogether.
And, I mean, were you scared?
Oh, was I scared? Are you kidding me? I was terrified. I was just... I've never not had a stable income coming in every 2 weeks, right? It's that safety net. But once you take that safety net and your back is against the wall, this is something you taught me. Like, I didn't know I could work this hard. I take great pride in being very lazy. I'm very efficient with my time, very efficient with my energy, and that's just a smart way of saying I don't like to do anything. So I was very lazy, but when I had no paycheck coming in, I worked so hard that I even surprised myself. So yes, I was scared, but I would never go back to a stable paycheck ever again.
Well, I think the interesting thing is, I always say it's trial by fire. It's like when you have, there is no better motivation, one, than a deadline, but two, than not having a security blanket behind you. And I think that's why I didn't want to give you advice on when you should leave your job, because it's not my place to say. I'm not in your shoes. And we do get that question a lot with our clients, because a lot of people come into the program, you know, working in a job, a 9-to-5 job, and they're ready to move on to becoming a full-time entrepreneur. But you really have to make the decision for yourself. And some people need more of a cushion. Some people need less. And so I just think that part of it is such a personal call. But for you, I mean, I think you mentioned that in the first 30 days, you were able to double your salary from your job. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I think that's for you. You're like, okay, well, if I can do this in 30 days, what can I do in, you know, X amount of days when this is my full-time focus? Because you were able to do that when that was kind of like your side hustle, implementing the program. So today, what have you generated in your business?
About 100 grand.
Which, like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, it's so great. So, I wanted to mention too, if you are here watching and you're like, this is awesome and I want to be a part of this, we have a link. I'm trying to point to it, but Yasser, you're actually in front of it. So it's like right below Yasser, where you can go, and we'll drop it. My team is here as well, so they can drop the link as well. But I think the thing to talk about here with getting to 100K in 10 months, because it sounds great and it also makes it sound easy. So I want you to walk me through what that journey's actually been like.
Where do you want me to start?
From the beginning.
Okay. So when I got on a call with your team, I was absolutely terrified of investing in myself. Like, because I had just paid off my debt for my education. And I was like, oh my God, there's no way. Now, luckily at the time, my partner at the time is a huge Sunny fan. Like, she was crazy about all things Sunny. So I was telling her, hey, this is the program. This is what she's going to help me out with. What do you think? And she was like, you better get on that thing. You better do it. So I was like, okay, sure, let's do it. I invested in the program, Sunny. I kid you not, for the next week, every single day, I was waking up sweating with nightmares. Like, what have you done? You signed your life away. You just paid your debt. What are you doing? So that's the state I was in, because, you know, it's a lot to start a business, especially when you don't have any money.
Yeah.
So started there with this overwhelming fear and scarcity mindset that, oh, no one's going to pay me. I can't do any of this stuff. How is anyone going to pay me this much money? And then I go to the Authority Accelerator group, and some guy, hey, you just made $40,000 last month. Hey, we just had a $50K. I just had a $100K. I'm like, what the hell are these guys doing making $100K in a month? What? There must be something here that works, right? So I got really, really motivated by that. So I started following the steps, skipping quite a few in the process, and going back every 5 minutes to ask you some questions. And eventually, the next thing you know, got on a couple of sales calls, started closing the clients, and next thing you know, I'd made 10 grand. So I was like, holy crap, maybe this Sunny person does know what she's talking about. So the fear was real when I can't overstate how scared I was. Just so incredibly scared. But looking back at it, I would probably have paid you twice the amount I paid you initially. So I've got no regrets at all.
I actually remember you saying that to me. You're like, I really would have paid more for this program, which I think is the highest compliment of all, and something that we really talk about is, focus on client results, because that's truly what grows a business. And the results are everything, because if you don't have results, your business is not meant to last at the end of the day. I am seeing there are some issues with the connection for some people, so I apologize for that. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a ton we can do on our end, but I just wanted to say we're aware, and please stick it out with us, because hopefully it will rectify itself. But I just wanted to mention that because I am seeing some comments in there. So we are aware there are some issues with the streaming. Some people are seeing it just fine. Some people are not seeing it okay, so that's okay. We'll deal with it, and we will send out a recording afterwards as well. But let me know if anyone can relate to the experience of feeling that level of fear, and maybe it's holding you back right now from making the decision. And I think the big takeaway is that, Yasser, really, like, yes, sure, I gave you the strategy. Yes, I gave you the step-by-steps inside of the Authority Accelerator, but you had to do the work and you had to implement. And so on that level, going from the amount of work that you were doing before, when you weren't really generating any clients, to the amount of work you've done in the last 10 months, how is it different? How is the workload different?
Well, when I was starting out initially, and I didn't know how to balance the two. I didn't know how to have a full-time job and do the side gig. And I was still half convinced that my YouTube would eventually give me some sort of ad revenue. So I was still making the videos in the first few weeks. So it was a lot of work in the first month or two, I'd say. Probably the most I have ever worked in my entire life. Like, I was working easily 80 to 100-hour weeks, and I was doing it happily. But at the same time, had I not invested in you, I would never have done even a fraction of that. So you need to have skin in the game. If you get everything for free, like, there's so many free resources I could have used, but I just never did it. So I needed to invest in myself. First 2 months, I just went completely all out, 110%. Once I made enough income to be like, dude, you don't need to worry about money anymore. You've got enough runway for a year plus at this point. And by the way, an emergency fund, I literally just learned about. So exactly, like emergency, what you mean, like grocery, right? Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, so I had a year's worth of emergency fund lined up. Then I started to ease up on the gas. Like, okay, you can chill out a little bit now. Sunny, now you brought me to the point where I'm working maybe 10 hours a week, like at tops. And that's if I'm feeling like I'm working. Like today, all I have on my schedule is talking to you, go back to my nap, play some video games. That's what I do. Right? Yeah, so I'm okay with that. Some people want to make a couple of $1 million. That's fine. I'm a lazy guy. I like playing my video games. I'm making enough money. I'm good with that. But it's not like it starts off. You have to build up to that. I've earned my place here, so I've put in a lot of work. Now I can ease off a little bit.
Well, and I mean, one thing I will bring up, I think I have it here, is I wanted to share this screenshot because you actually posted this in I think it was last week or maybe the week before, that you have now generated $50,000 just in the last 3 months in your business. Like 10 months, 100K, last 3 months, 50K. And I think that's the really important thing to understand, is that, and this is why we talk so much, which I know you're probably sick of hearing from me, but the flywheel concept. It's like when you start working on your business, there's really 4 aspects, and that's it. It's you have to have the best program, and you have to get it into the real world, and you have to get people to enroll in it. So you have program, enrollment, which is sales. Then you have to create transformation for your customers, and those customers then become your best social proof and ambassadors to tell everybody that you are the best at what you do, and it accelerates your authority. But of course, in the beginning, it takes momentum to push the flywheel and to get it moving. But now it's starting to work on autopilot. And the thing I wanted to mention, which I think is so interesting, is people probably assume, oh, well, you're probably posting on YouTube like at least once a week for, to get all of this going. But you've really been able to hit that 100K mark without YouTube, correct?
Yeah. Yes and no, but I think 99% of my leads have actually come from LinkedIn. And had I taken all that time that I put on YouTube videos to LinkedIn, I probably would have generated a lot more.
And that's from, again, kind of what we were talking about earlier, which is like profitable content, intent-based content, not just making content and hoping that someone's going to come along and want to work with you. And so I think that's important to understand too, because in the Authority Accelerator, YouTube doesn't even happen until phase 3 of the program. We're like, build the program, sell the program, and you don't have to have an audience. You don't have to have this massive following. You have to have the right people in your realm, which we all do. And you did a great job of building that profitable audience from scratch. You want to kind of dive into how you did that?
Yeah, well, first of all, I've had a lot of practice. I had to do it 2 times all over again. So, I run So the first time I launched my program, I launched it as a career coach. And maybe I can talk a little bit about how I transitioned as well.
Yeah.
So I started as a career coach, and I started my business there. I quit my job, did all that stuff. But I realized when I was looking at Sunny's group, everyone's making like, hey, I just made a $4,000 sale, $5,000 sale, $6,000. I'm like, how am I going to make that much money with my current niche? Because these people are unemployed. They're looking for a job. Had I not been involved in AA, I'd been perfectly happy. But now I'm like, holy crap, now I got to work up to these guys' level, right? So I got an idea one day, and this was actually because one other career coach reached out to me and said, listen, how did you get your business off the ground so fast? I've been trying to do this for 6 years. Like, well, there's a little person I know called Sunny. She helped me out with that. But I had to mention that part, of course. Like, oh, it just took a lot of experimentation, blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, so they got on a call with me, and the problem seemed to be, I don't know how to get clients on LinkedIn. I don't know how to do sales. So I said, okay, let me just help you out with that. Helped them out, and they skyrocketed their income. So they went from nothing, making like a couple of $100 to around $8,000 within the first 2 weeks. And they were like, listen, why don't you just do this? Like, why don't I just do this? Like, okay, let me do that. So I started the entire Sunny system, the entire Authority Accelerator thing all over again. Got a whole new clients, rebranded. So this is one of the reasons my YouTube is still catching up, because I kept switching. My YouTube channel was initially higher education, then how do you find a job? Now how do you practice sales and stuff like that? So it keeps changing, right? But when I'm on LinkedIn, I started using LinkedIn as a way to reach out to professionals, because when I was a career coach, people looking for jobs, where do they hang out? On LinkedIn. So I became so familiar with the platform that a lot of people are like, hey, you're a LinkedIn lead generation expert, right? Okay, I guess I am. Let's do it. So now I've established this brand on LinkedIn, apparently, where that's where I'm getting a lot of my profitable content. I put my profitable content there. People see it. They're like, listen, I like what you're doing. I want you to help me out. So I've done that twice over now. I know the Sunny system inside out, but here's the interesting thing, Sunny. You're not going to like me for saying this. I've only seen the first 2 weeks of the program.
No, I love that. That makes me happy, because you know why? You've only done the first 2 weeks, and yet you've been able to generate $100,000 just based on those first 2 weeks of the program. And I think the key takeaway there is this, and I say this all the time. People don't pay for information, they pay for transformation. And for you, all it took was those first 2 weeks of content inside of the program and implementation, and you're already seeing results, and you haven't touched anything else. So that's a win to me. I'm like, I want my clients to get results as quickly as possible. Like, I don't want you to sit there feeling like you're guessing or you're hoping. I want you to get results fast. So that actually makes me very happy. And the other takeaway from what you just mentioned is that it's okay to pivot. And our entire program is built off of test, fail, learn, grow, repeat. So you tested a niche, and you were able to then take the real world feedback from launching that program and go, I don't know if this is where I ultimately want to be. I think I need to pivot. But you can only learn that by actually doing the thing. Like the thing that keeps people so stuck in their businesses and stuck from even getting started is they're like, well, this is the one thing I'm going to pick and I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. It's so much pressure to do it that way. I always say, I'm like, just pick the niche, get it into the real world, test it. And if it doesn't work, you at least are way further ahead than you were before because you've already done the steps to launch that. Now you just need to implement it again and launch it one more time. And now you found your groove and your rhythm. So
exactly.
I think that's important to understand. Is like, you're not married to your niche, and it's okay if it's not the perfect fit for you right off the bat.
Yeah, just to build on that, Sunny, when I was switching from my first program to my second program, I never would have known I was good at sales, like ever, right? I got fired from my first and only sales job, the only one I had 3 years ago. So me going into sales, no thank you, that's not for me, right? So when I was doing my business and I learned all the skills you taught me, I realized that my closing percentage was really, really high. So when I talked to other coaches, they were like, listen, I can only close maybe 1 out of the 15 people I talked to. I didn't know it was a skill I had, let alone a skill that I could monetize and then teach other people. Now I have an entire clientele that's doing the same thing. But because I implemented your system, I realized the things that I'm really good at, the things that I really want to do, which is sales, especially for people who aren't good at it. And that allowed me to shift from my first to second program. So again, experimentation was the key.
Yeah, testing is vital because it's the only way to really understand what works and what doesn't work. If it's locked in your head as just an idea, you're stuck in analysis paralysis and you're really not going to get anywhere very quickly. And also I think it aids in building momentum of the flywheel because when you actually start working with real people, you know what they really need and what they don't need. So you can subtract anything that's unnecessary, which is really great as well. I actually wanted to ask you that about your program. Have you found that there's been a shift in how you create a program from like add all the things in to take all the things out?
Yeah, so I'm the kind of guy who I'm very impulsive, right? So if I'll read a book right now and I'll find a gem, okay, I'm going to make a 45-minute module on this, throw it in the course right now. Everybody needs to know this. But what ended up happening was I put out so much information and people are like, listen, man, I don't have this much time to go through all this stuff. What do I really need to look at? So what I've done is I've broken it down into optional things. Hey, if you want to learn more about what to say when they say, I want to think about it, what to say when they say they'll talk to their husband or their spouse, what do I do then? Then you can check these things out, right? So I don't want to overload my clients with information. They're like, there's so many things, where do I even start? So I think the most important thing, and I wish I realized that way early, is to cut it down to just the important bits. What do they actually need? What are they actually going to need to move on to their business? And that's exactly what you helped me with. You said, listen, stop skipping to week 7. You're still on week 1. Why are you checking out how to build a funnel? Why are you checking out what to do with ClickFunnels? You're not there yet. Go all the way back and do this. And that's exactly what I'm trying to replicate with my clients as well.
Well, and I think what's really cool about that is like you've been able to do this without a funnel, which again, everybody thinks you need a freaking funnel. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love you, Russell Brunson, but you're not just one funnel away. That's not the truth, you know? Like you have to really sell without all of the tech first, because creating so much complexity with tech just stalls you from actually generating clients. And if you don't have clients, you don't know what works. So you've done all of this without paid ads, without a funnel, and without YouTube. And so that piece is mind-blowing, I'm sure, because before you spent like $2,000 on paid ads, I think?
Yeah.
With no return.
So here's the interesting thing. So I made a new channel, and I put the ads on that channel, and now it just went down the drain because the channel's just sitting around.
There you go. Paid ads are not the answer. They sometimes can be a dumpster fire, and you have to be able to sell your program organically to get the cash flow to then reinvest into the paid ad structure. So you mentioned something earlier that I think is really important. You kind of said like, you know, I'm in the AA group, which is our private group for Authority Accelerator. And you were like, I'm seeing all these people post their wins. I'm seeing people sharing like, I just made a 6K sale, etc. How vital is that mastermind component of Authority Accelerator to you?
I would pay for that access to that group alone. That's how valuable it is to me. I've made it's strange because some of the best connections, some of the best even friends I would call them I've made are in that group. I regularly talk to people on the AA group. Every single day I'm talking to at least 2 or 3 different one of them, right? And not only that, but when I was starting out, I was so scared, right? Like I've never done this before, and to know that there are thousands of people now in the group now, I completely lost track. I was so scared that when I put a post out there like, hey, first day, don't know what the heck's going on. Anyone else in this field? So many people reached out to me. Hey, listen, don't worry about it. We were all here. Just get this step out of the way. It'll be good. And then it keeps you pushing too, because I'm very good at BSing myself. Oh, you can only make this much money. That's kind of it. And then you see the next guy making twice as much. And like, okay, well, maybe not. Maybe I can make more. And then you keep pushing your boundaries, right? So every time I think I'm doing well, I just see someone's post on the group and I want to work harder. The other thing is, I'm the kind of person who wake up at 4 in the morning and I'll have some sort of a thought that I'll linger on for the next 2.5 years, right? All I'll do is take that thought, put it into the group, and you'll solve it for me in a minute and a half. And that's happened so many times where I'd be like, oh my God, how do I do this? What do I do?
Yeah.
I'll put it on the, and then
I wanted to mention that because I don't know why this is a misconception, and maybe it's because programs are run differently depending on who's running it, but
yeah,
I think people have a misconception that like I don't actually talk to you inside of the group. Like, can you lift the veil a little bit and share, how involved I am to a point where maybe it feels like I'm stalking you? I don't know.
Yes. I first of all, I want to say Sunny's real. I've seen her. She's an actual human being. She also does reply on the Facebook group very, very actively. And she's not one of those good posts, great. Like, she'll literally go and give you a pretty deep analysis of your question. And if you still don't understand, then you can get on a call with her, talk to her. She has this weird ability where you can be thinking about something for months. You come and ask her, and within 40 seconds, he's like, why are you even thinking about this? It's not a problem. Like, Sunny, do you know how much went into this? I came loaded with all these objections, and you're like, nah, that's not even a problem. So it's very involved is what I'm trying to say.
It's so funny because the only reason I have that ability, and I mentioned this today in an Instagram post, is I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've worked with so many people that I can hear a question that for you feels like the world is ending. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've been there. So this is what you're going to do. Or, oh yeah, that doesn't really matter right now. And kind of just like let you move on, which is why we call it the Authority Accelerator. Because I'm like, I want you to get from here to here as quickly as possible and remove any of that stuff. And Nicole, we have to give Nicole a shout out. Nicole is here and she's also a part of the program and she's our community manager and she's phenomenal. And she also is like really on it with the questions and support and everything. But yeah, I'm in the Facebook group every single day. We're doing 2 calls a week with our clients. We actually get to speak to you. I remember when you were going through the pivot and we got to talk and really dive deep on like, is this the right move for you? And I'm so happy to see how it's panned out. And I want to again give you kudos. My job as your mentor or consultant in your business is not to tell you what to do. It's to equip you with all of the options so that you can make the decision for yourself because you have to ultimately live with it. And I feel like you're pretty happy with the decision that you've made.
I'm pretty happy.
Another question I want to ask you is with scalability. So before you joined the program, you're putting out all the content, you're doing all the work, and you just mentioned you're working like 10 hours a week now. Oh, by the way, if you aren't aware, there's the link to apply for Authority Accelerator if you're just joining now. If you're joining as well and don't know what we're talking about, this is Yasser. Yasser is one of our star students, clients in Authority Accelerator, and he's been able to go from $400 in revenue to $100,000 in the last 10 months with his coaching business and doubled his salary, which is awesome, and was able to quit his job. So we're diving deep on that.
Now it's almost 4 times my salary.
Now
so let's just get that straight.
He quadrupled his salary with his online program. So Authority Accelerator is where we teach you how to create, automate, and scale your online program completely organically. There are some questions about how do you find clients if you don't run paid ads, which I will get to at the end of this. We'll do a little Q&A, but the scalability part of it, you said you're working like 10 hours a week. You're super happy with that. You're actually quite lazy is what you said, which I appreciate. I'm like, be proactively lazy. Like, you don't have to be working all the time. Your business should work for you. So what do you think was the missing link for you in creating scale, I guess, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so systems obviously one of them, but also getting out of that bubble of serving one person at a time and selling your time for money, which is the only way I knew how to do things, right? You sit across someone, you get paid like 90 bucks or 100 bucks an hour and you make a living off of that. I didn't know you could scale this to this extent. I was like, I only have so many hours in a given week. How can I make this much money? If I'm going to be working my butt off, and that's just not what I want to do because I want to maintain my lazy lifestyle. It's very important to me. So I think your program taught me how to scale that with many people. So one to many instead of one to one. How do you teach people in a large volume, kind of like a classroom, and make an enormous transformation? And I have to admit, when I was starting with your program, I was very skeptical of a group setting. I was like, I'm more of a one-to-one. I would never pay for a one-to-one ever again after your program.
I say that all the time. And I've done it since, and I'm like, man, this is frustrating because I'm waiting for you. You're waiting for me. It's such a waste of time for everyone involved. So I'm so glad that you spoke to that.
Yeah, I don't think I will ever do a one-to-one again because, yes, you're talking to an expert and they're talking to you about your problem, but you'd only get one perspective. In your group, I asked one question. I had 25 people comment and give me different perspectives, different ideas, right? So I think it's so valuable that you've taught me how to do that, believe in the system because I joined your program, and now I do that same thing in my program. So I was struggling that, are people going to learn how to find a job in a group setting? Yes, people found jobs at Amazon, at Microsoft through my program, no problem. Then I was like, are people going to benefit from learning sales in a group program? Yes, I've had people go from $20 for their service to $2,800. So it works really well. So you've taught me how to scale that. And again, I'm only on like week 2 or 3 right now. I haven't even done the funnel bit. I haven't even done the scaling bit. So once I do that, who knows where I'll be? We'll have to do another one maybe a year from now. Oh.
Well, and that's the beauty of it, right? Is like I'm here for the journey with you the whole way through, and that is truly what makes me the happiest because I can see, start to finish. I have watched our clients build $1 million businesses over the last year, 2 years, which is just an incredible thing for me, and it's the most rewarding part of what I do. I remember I said probably 5 or 6 years ago, I was like, man, my dream job would be to elevate people who have an expertise so that they could create success ripples in the world with their unique genius. And sitting here talking to you and knowing what you've done and watching all of our clients, that's the crazy thing. And I'm sure you can speak to this too. It's not like everybody's in the make money niche. We have clients who are bakers. We have clients who are dancers. We have clients who are accountants. We have clients who are doctors. We have clients who are naturopaths. We have clients who heal gut health. We have clients all over the board. And you don't have to be in a make money niche in order to have a successful program. There's truly an audience and need for everybody if you focus on transformation. I think that's the biggest thing, if you focus on transformation first.
I remember you talking about this. I was having a problem believing people will pay me for my career coaching, and you were like, someone literally has a course on hula hooping. I was like, okay, if they'll pay for a hula hooping course, they'll definitely pay for a job searching course too then.
Yes, there's a woman on Thinkific who crushes it with a hula hooping course. And I'm like, man, there's that saying, it's like, if you're worried about your business idea, just think about the guy who invented the pool noodle. He's a bajillionaire and he invented the pool noodle. So there is a need for everything. There is a problem to be solved by everything. One thing I want to talk about, which is funny, we'll bring it back to YouTube because I know you're not really active on YouTube right now, which is amazing that you've been able to do this without YouTube. So I can only imagine what's going to happen when you really go hard there. But, by the way, if you haven't yet, be sure to share this stream with your friends as well because I know it'll be beneficial. But you actually got reached out to by a producer from Netflix because of a video that had 200 views on it.
Right.
Tell me that story.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't tell you the other part of that story as well. I got reached out to by another producer after that too. They were filming a video about Pride Month or something like that, and they saw my video on that as well. So they were like, can we get your footage? And it's a whole different debacle. Anyway, the Netflix thing, I made this video about when I came out of university, I had incurred a lot of credit card debt, right? So naturally, when I told you when I was signing on to a program, I just got out of debt, I had just paid that debt. So I didn't know anything about money. I still don't know anything about money. So I made this video about what I did, what steps I took to get out of my debt. How did I sufficiently save enough money, made lifestyle choices, and paid off that debt. Forgot about the video. It had like 150 views on it, right? Like you move on to the next one. You make 2,000 more videos and you forget about it. So one day I got an email from someone in my old inbox that I don't even check. And I don't even know why I checked it. Maybe it's a law of attraction coming to me. I checked my inbox and it was someone from Vox Media. And I was like, I know that YouTube channel, Vox Media. I follow them quite well. And they said, hey, we saw your video, particularly this one, and we found it really interesting. We're actually looking to interview people for our new episode coming in. I'm like, what episode are we talking about? Then got on a call with them. So apparently Vox produces this show called Explained on Netflix.
Which I've seen, which is so cool.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen it too. And they're doing an episode on credit cards and credit card debt. So they found my video and said, listen, you're the only guy on YouTube who's talking about this, and I think you present really well on camera. We wanted to get in touch with you to see if you would be interested. So I said, hell yeah, I'd be interested. Why not? So we booked another time for a week later. I filmed my entire bit, and I'm going to be on the next Explained episode whenever that airs.
Okay, so this is what I want to harp on with YouTube. First of all, that video is old, and you hadn't touched it, you hadn't thought about it. But we talk about the Sunny system in terms of like, it really does create your universe. When you create relevant and profitable content for the right people will see it, and you never know who's watching. So you had no idea that a Netflix producer was going to come across that video. And for me, one of the very first videos I ever published, I had the head of social media for NATO reach out to me, and I thought it was a joke. I literally was like, that can't be real. And then the next thing you know, one of my first speaking engagements is at NATO's headquarters in Brussels. So I think that's the thing with YouTube, is like, it attracts these opportunities for life where you have no idea even who's watching, but it could change your life very much so.
Yeah. You know what else I learned from your system, Sunny, is just people are looking for a very specific solution when they're searching for things, right? Yeah. So if someone's looking, for example, a Netflix producer, she was looking for someone talking about how they paid off their credit card debt or what credit card debt did to them. And they were looking for something incredibly specific. They found my video with that incredibly specific title that resonated with them. So I didn't need 5,000 views in that video. I just need the one view from that one person who's looking for that video.
Yes, and that's why it's so important to create intentional content, because then the right people will see it. I wanted to say thank you to Megan Elaine and Boo Traveler. Sorry, I'm in the midst of the interview, so I wasn't able to answer the question, but Megan, thank you so much for tackling that. And just so everybody knows, this is an application only program, but we do encourage you to fill out an application. I'm going to put the apply link here. And it's also on the screen right underneath Yasser if you want to just type it into your search bar, but I'll put the apply link there. Be sure to give this a like if it's resonating with you, and if you're getting some good key takeaways here. I'd love to hear them in the comments as well, and be sure to share this out. And one thing I wanted to touch on too that you mentioned earlier, and then we're going to wrap up pretty shortly here because I want to be respectful of the time, but you talked about how you started with one niche and then you kind of pivoted into something else. And I can see from the outside, but I'm sure you've probably figured this out for yourself. With our clients, we always want to focus on creating a program that's most aligned with your own story and your own transformation. And I think the first niche that you picked was very much sort of based on external. You're like, oh, there's career coaches out there. I'll be a career coach. How do you feel like the program you have now is aligned with your story, and how has that impacted your belief in what you're doing with your program?
Yeah, it's so interesting, because if you had asked me what business or what impact do you want to create on people in general, I would say I want to help people realize that they're more confident, realize their self-esteem. That's what I really want to do, right? But I didn't know how I could make a program out of that, and I didn't believe in myself enough, ironically, that I could start my business. So I went back on something that was safe. So it was COVID-19 just hit. There were a lot of unemployed people looking for help. I was a recruiter. I knew what the inside was like. So it was a safe choice, right? But I didn't want to talk about resumes and cover letters for the rest of my life. That's not something I was interested in, but I thought it just made more sense. And you hear a lot of people say, you know what, passion and career are two different things. You don't always have to do something you love. So I fell into that a little bit. And especially because sales is not something I was ever interested in. In fact, like I mentioned, I got fired from it. But what I realized, there was a connection between sales and self-esteem that I newly discovered thanks to your program. there were so many people I was speaking to who were amazing at what they were doing. They just could not communicate that to their clients. So if they can make their clients $10,000 with real estate or make a funnel for them, whatever it is, they just don't know how to communicate that to them. So they make all these conclusions in their head about, I'm not good enough, my program's not good enough, no one's going to pay me, no one's going to pay me above this certain amount. So I realized that if I can teach them, if they can communicate the value of their service without pitching, without having a sales pitch, anything like that, feel good about it, generate money, then their self-esteem goes up as well. So I'm both helping them with an ROI, and I'm also helping them feel good about their price, so in a way that it doesn't sound like they're stealing or leeching their clients of money, right? So I knew that because I made that transformation.
Right.
I was charging a couple of $100 for my program. You know that, right? My first program was like $499 or something. And having moved from that to 10x what my price was at the time, that takes a lot of mental transformation. And again, thanks to you and the group for that. So now I want to teach that to my clients. And when I teach them, they're like, no one's going to pay, blah, 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 blah. And again, like you, I've heard it before. I know it's going through your head right now. And when they see, okay, I don't have to work for $50 an hour now. I can do 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Once they make their first sale, they're like, I'm never going back after that again. So again, it was so much experimentation, so much trial and error, but also realizing that I can do what I really want to do, what I'm really passionate about, and make a business out of it. They don't need to be two separate things. It was a problem with me not believing in myself enough. And now I'm at that point where I'm comfortable. I know my system works. And again, I have you to thank for that. So.
Well, I just think it's amazing because really knowing your story, what you ultimately created, which it's been fascinating for me to watch all of our clients. We now have 1,400 clients inside of the program, and to speak to people every single week and to really get to know our clients inside and out, you see ultimately, even if it feels blurry at the beginning, your niche is you. Your niche is your own transformation or the thing that you've ultimately struggled with. And you struggled with that belief. And so it's really close to home for you. So it's so aligned with your own journey that it makes you an expert in being able to support other people through that journey, which I think is awesome. And for me, I mean, hearing you say you're working 10 hours a week is the best thing I could hear, because I created this program to combat that entrepreneurial burnout. And through my own story of hitting burnout, I never want people to go through that, because I went through it and I saw how detrimental it was to me and that I still struggle with it to this day. And so I like the aftermath of it. So this program is so aligned with me, and it's why I'm so passionate about it, why I'm so passionate about sharing stories like yours. Only a couple of questions left, but if you could like talk to your 10 months ago version of yourself as your version today, what are you most proud of? How do you feel like you've changed the most?
That kid had no idea what was going to come ahead of him. Oh, man. There was so much panic in me 10 months ago, and if I could just say, listen, just shut up and join this program and follow the steps. Just if I had just been like that older brother to myself, I would have done that. I feel like one thing you taught me was just not set goals that are so minor. You know, I was going through my New Year resolution goals for 2020, and I had written, I want to start a passive income source. I want to generate a little bit of income on the side. That was my goal. I wanted to make a couple of $100 and I would be good with it. Sonny, you literally changed my entire life. You made me $100,000. That is a complete shift, right? So had I known that possibility, I would have gone back to my 2020 goals and say, hey, why are we shooting for $100,000, bro? We got to go higher than that. We got to go 500, right? So now when I wrote my 2021 goals, I'm like, yo, let's shoot for $500,000. That's what we're going to shoot for. So if I had to go back, I'd say, listen, follow the steps. Don't panic, because I know panicking is what I do best. I should include that in my course. And then there's a module on how to panic about your business. So you write your goals down, be more ambitious about your goals, and also just follow the steps. This is me as a person. If I'm following a recipe, I'll skip 5 of the ingredients and just substitute them for whatever I think I should put on them. I won't follow them. So, and I've known that because when I come and follow your program and I skip 5 steps, I suffer from it. Right. I get confused. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So I go back and tell that guy, listen, you're going to do great. You're going to make a ton of money. Just follow these steps and don't panic. And it's panned out pretty well.
Well, I love that. And you and my husband both, honestly. I'm like, how do you screw up every recipe you try to make? And I swear he's doing it on purpose because he's like, well, you're the best at cooking. And I'm like, no, don't play that game with me. Oh my gosh, so good.
It's an art.
I love it. So, I mean, obviously your life has changed quite a bit from a year ago to now, and all the while in the midst of a global pandemic. So I just want to say kudos to you. And we'll do a little Q&A in a sec, if that's okay, if you have time, which I think you do, because you told me you're not working and you just have to play PlayStation. So we'll do a little Q&A. And I wanted to just ask you, because I know there are people here who are feeling that fear. There are people here who are you 10 months ago. If you were talking to them, which you are, what is your advice? If they're like, okay, I think I want to do this. I think I want to start creating my online program. I think I'm ready. What's your advice?
Right. Okay, two things. So number one, when I was not following your program, I know you talked about burnout, Justin, a little bit, but I was doing my job and making videos to such an extent that when I would show up to my job, I literally could not work. There was a time where my boss had a private meeting with me and said, listen, your numbers are tanking. We can see you're overworked. We can see you're stressed. Take 2 weeks off. And that was one of the scariest conversations I've had because it felt like I was going to get fired, right? So I knew that what I was doing, this constant process of video after video, not generating any money, there's only so much of it I can do. I had already thrown thousands down the drain. I watched every video under the sun of how to make a funnel and all that. None of it worked for me. Like it never happened, right? So if you're watching this and you feel like you're in that state, I promise you, if you have a structure to follow, it is so much easier. It takes all the guesswork out of it. Sunny knows what she's talking about. Obviously, you can go through thousands of her testimonials and just follow the steps. Just have faith in the system. The other thing I would say is there's an emotional roller coaster that you have to expect going into something like this. If you're starting a business for the first time and you're investing in yourself for the first time, expect there to be a lot of uncertainty. Expect there to be a lot of fear. I'm not overstating this when I'm saying I would wake up at 4 a.m. sweating in the first week of joining the program. That's how scared I was, right? I was like, should I ask for a refund? Should I go back? What do I do? I can't believe I did this. Stuck with it long enough. That emotional fear phase only lasts so long. You start seeing progress and eventually it subsides. Next thing you know, you made a ton of cash. You're like, what the hell was I scared of? So the other thing I would say is it's one of those things where personally, I would not recommend just dipping your toes in it. Either jump into it or don't jump into it at all. And for me, it was just 100%. I need to completely jump into it. And I'm so glad I did because I wouldn't have put in the effort I have. So don't think about it too much. I don't think you need any more proof whether Sunny's system works at all. If thousands of people aren't enough for you, I don't know if there's anything else that's going to convince you. Like I mentioned, I would have happily paid twice as much for the program, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
And I so appreciate you for that, and I am so over the moon happy for you. I remember when you were freaking out and panicking, and it really is when you're doing something like this, when you start a business, it's like your mind has to catch up to your reality, and I think that's the most important bit is like you had to catch up to the fact that your success was inevitable if you just kept doing the work and implementing. So kudos to you. Snaps for you. I know there's a few questions. Melissa would like to know, what do you do? If we haven't said it enough.
Fantastic question. I think we should have covered that way earlier on.
We've said it a few times. It's okay.
Yeah. I help coaches and entrepreneurs talk about their service to their clients in a way where they don't feel like they're pitching their service. It's not a sales script, and I help them raise their prices. So if someone's feeling like I can only charge $200 or $300, I help shift that mindset to no, you can charge $2,000, $3,000 in a way where people would happily pay you. I'm not someone who follows a script. I strongly believe that you should go into your sales calls kind of like a doctor. If there is a problem, you can say, hey, this is what can I help you out with? Would you like to do it? So I help them increase their income by believing in themselves and their service.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It's okay, Melissa. We wanted to repeat that for you. I'm not seeing too many other questions. I did want to say thank you, everyone, for helping us navigate through these tech issues. I hope that the stream quality was okay. It seems like it because we still have quite a few people here. But I did just want to say overall, like, this is going to sound weird, but you are the norm inside of Authority Accelerator. And I think that saying of like, you're the equivalent of the 5 people you surround yourself with. This is what you're getting when you get into the Authority Accelerator. Like, this is normal, and it's creating a new normal for yourself, which I think is so important, because just like you said, when you are on the outside looking in, it feels impossible. But when you surround yourself with people who have been there and done that, which is everybody inside the Authority Accelerator, you realize it's doable. And it's taking all of those negative thoughts or the fear or the self-doubt, and it's combating it with, oh, I'm seeing success every single day, so why can't it be me? And for me, I know how important that was. I had to have people around me who were doing the thing I wanted to do. And so I just wanted to say thank you to you for taking the time to do this, because I know that time is valuable, but I also love that you have the time to do it now, because you're not making 125 YouTube videos. So so I'm really, really happy about that. Is there anything else that you want to share before we go ahead and wrap up?
Yes, one very specific point I want to mention. So when I was talking to people from your team, when I was considering your program, I was looking at some of the testimonials that really resonated with me. So at the time, Linda Rayner, one of your clients, she's done phenomenally well on YouTube. She was a career coach, right? So I watched her testimonial, and I was so impressed by how she was able to start her business, generate tons and tons of income. I just didn't know how I was able to do that. Once I joined your program and I got through that initial fear phase, I knew for a fact that, okay, one day I'm going to have my testimonial on Sunny's profile like Linda Rayner.
And
it's
look
going to
at
happen.
you
I don't know
go.
how. One way or another, I'm going to be on a call with Sunny talking about it, and here we are.
Here we are.
I would never have learned that was it not for the mindset piece that you teach in your program. And I think that goes, a lot of people don't talk about mindset as much, but man, is that stuff important. So I really wanted to give you a shout out for that as well.
Thank you. I mean, I think mindset is one of the most vital things in business, because you're constantly battling your mindset, and you have to shift your identity to level up to the person that you want to be before you're that person, which I think you absolutely have done. And you push past the fear to become that person. So I just love that. And I think the transformation is so amazing to watch. And it's exactly what we preach. You didn't pay for the information. You paid for the transformation. And, you know, I know it's scary to invest in something, but really at the end of the day, you're investing in yourself, and you're investing in the belief that you can do it, because people always ask, they're like, what's your success rate in your program? Like, how many people succeed? And I'm like, every single person who does the program and implements it succeeds.
Yeah.
Because it's proven, it's time tested. It's like, I didn't include anything that you don't need inside this program. You get access to me. Any questions, we like help you move past them real quick so you're not stuck there. So your success, we say this is like a motto inside the program. So I know anyone who's in AA has heard me say this, but I say your success is inevitable, because the only way to fail is to not do the program or to quit. And you're a living proof of that. And it happened pretty darn quickly as well. Yeah. So that's also wonderful to see. So thank you so much. Amit, yes, 100%. I encourage you to apply. I just dropped the apply link again, and also you can see it on the screen right below Yasser as well. So thank you everyone for being here. I appreciate you all so much, and I appreciate your time. And Yasser, I appreciate you so, so much. And you're in Vancouver, right?
Yes, I am.
Well,
like 3 blocks from
I know. When this pandemic BS is over, then I would love to see you in real life. We can do our next one of these in real life. That would be great. Awesome. Thanks, Yasser. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.